Hello. Today I'm going to go over some more embroidery basics. I'm going to talk about how to hoop, in particular how to hoop napkins for embroidery. So the first thing you want to do is to look at your napkin and make sure it's nice and square, or if it's not completely square, then pick the best side or angle. I think this is the best one. So before you embroider anything, you always want to iron it and to fuse your stabilizer. So I'm just going to, now if you don't have it, I really like these little sprayers. You can put some water in them and use them to spritz your fabric for ironing. I just got that at the hardware store. And make sure your fabric is nice and smooth before you hoop or do anything else. If your fabric is not smooth before you start to embroider, it certainly will not be when you're done. And if you've got any little creases there, give them a little bit of a spritz and then press them, and that water will usually help to clean them up nicer, get rid of all those little wrinkles. So to embroider on the corner of the napkin, it doesn't quite fit in the hoop. So what I like to do is I actually have my stabilizer just hang over the hoop a little bit. So I've got some fusible stabilizer here, it's iron on, and the first thing I want to do is to find the center. And so I'm simply going to fold it in half and just put a little crease there. Nothing too big, just enough to help me keep track of the center. I'm going to line up that crease with this little bottom corner, and I'm going to have about an inch, inch and a quarter hanging over. Now if you look, you can see how uneven that is on those two sides, so that means that I'm not very straight on there, and I'm just going to turn it until I'm pretty much the same amount on both sides. Make sure my crease is still in the center. Now I'm just going to put my iron down, and I'm going to press, and I'm going to go 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, and I'm going to move it along the edges until I've got everything covered and that fabric is fused in place. So my fabric is fused, or my stabilizer is fused to my fabric, and I can come back over to my work surface, and I like to use the lines on my cutting board again to help line things up. And I'm going to take my straight edge here, and I'm going to put that up on the top corner because I want to mark the center here to line up in my hoop. And I'm going to put that on the bottom corner and the top corner, make sure they're straight. Now I really like these little pins. They're from Frixion and they're iron away. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to draw a line down. And now I need this about 2.5 inches. If you're not sure how far you need your cross line, print out your layout guide that usually should come with your design. And that's going to got a nice little cross hatch. And I'm going to line up the center cross hatch, and then I can see, how far up or down I want that. And I've already measured on this one, and it comes out to about 2.5 inches. But I could also just make, a little dot there. Then I'll take my ruler again, and I'll line it up along that line, the straight line, and I want it 2.5 inches. So I've got 1, 2.5. I'm lined up. And I'm going to draw a line going this way. So those are going to help me, let's draw a little darker there on the corner so you can see it better. That's going to help me keep everything straight when I put it in the hoop. Now I like to use, again, my layout guide for hooping. It works better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting my fabric over my hoop, and you've got kind of those heavier lines in the center of your board, and I've lined up those little cross hatches there and that one with that. And then I'm going to take my bottom of my frame, the bottom side, make sure you got it going the right direction. I'm just going to lift that up, and I'm going to center this over there. And mine actually has some little circles. You can barely see them, but they're little tiny circles there. And I'm just going to line those up on those 4 cardinal lines there. Take my hoop back, And you may have gotten one of these with your hoops and probably never used it. It's a little guide. Again, that's helpful for keeping things straight. I find it easier to use than just the little marks. So I'm going to lay those over top of my lines so they cover my lines. And now what I want to do is I want to take my fingers and feel and see that the hoop, the underneath hoop, is pretty much where I want it to be. If it's too far to one side, then just, kind of pull things a little bit so that that hoop, you can feel an even amount of that hoop on all sides of your top hoop. Now all you need to do is push, and our design is nice and straight in the hoop and ready for embroidery. And actually it's not quite ready for embroidery, because usually what you need to do is you want to push that hoop down firmly. So a couple fingers on the top, thumbs underneath, and I'm going to push on each of those corners. So sometimes you want to go back and give the first corners another push, because after you get them all up, get them all up nice and tight. If your hoop was particularly loose, make sure you've tightened it up. This should be about right, because I've been doing this design for a little bit, so I've got it set to the right thickness. So I've got my fabric all hooped, it's centered, and we're ready to embroider. So that's all you need to do for hooping. Like I said, these little guides are helpful for making sure you've got things where you want them. Draw some lines with an iron away pen. And I'll just show you here, this pen works really nice. And if you look, my iron's still warm here. And the lines go away. So I like those. There's also some ones where you can brush them away or whatever. Whatever works best for your project. Again, make sure you've marked it. Fuse your stabilizer. Mark your center points. Use your guide. Position it over everything. Get everything lined up. Press it down. Secure your hoop. Slide it up. Tighten it if necessary. And you're ready to embroider. I hope this lesson has been helpful. I have some other basic tutorials, including stabilizers and some machine basics. Again, I hope this lesson was helpful for you. If so, please like and share. And please subscribe to this channel for more embroidery basics and in the hoop projects by LLH Embroidery. Thanks and happy stitching.